Hey there. So, we've all gotten pretty used to AI that can chat with us, right? Things like ChatGPT. But what's the next big leap? Well, that's what we're diving in today. Agentic AI. This is a totally new frontier where AI doesn't just talk about doing things, it actually does them. You ever wonder why that super smart AI assistant on your phone can write a brilliant email for you but can't, actually send it? Or how it can plan the perfect vacation itinerary but falls short of booking the flights? This is the fundamental wall we hit with most AI today. And it's the exact problem that agentic AI is designed to tear down. Okay, let's really get into the core difference here. A standard large language model, an LLM, is basically a brain in a jar. It's incredibly intelligent, holds a ton of knowledge, but it's totally passive. It just sits there and waits for you to ask it something. Agentic AI, completely different game. It's built for autonomous action. It's got hands and feet in the digital world, allowing it to see what's going on and actively work towards a goal without you holding its hand.
So, what does it really mean for an AI to be an agent? Let's get specific and talk about this jump from just knowing stuff to intelligently doing stuff.
The textbook definition is that an agentic system can do three things. It perceives its environment, it makes decisions based on what it perceives, and then it takes action based on those decisions. This is a world away from normal software that just follows a strict pre-written script. An agent has the autonomy to figure things out on its own to get the job done. And this all works because of a simple but really powerful five-step loop that just runs over and over. It all starts when it gets a mission from you. That's the big picture goal. Then it scans the scene, gathering whatever information it needs. Next, it thinks it through and comes up with a step-by-step plan. Then, of course, it takes action and actually executes that plan. And this last step is key. It learns and gets better. It looks at the results and adapts its strategy for the future. It's a constant cycle of improvement. But wait, how does an agent actually do anything in the real world? This brings us to a really crucial design pattern, the agent's toolkit. So here's the problem we need to solve. An LLM's knowledge is frozen in time, right? It only knows what it was trained on. To be actually useful, it needs a way to break out of that box and connect to live, real-world information and systems. The solution is the tool use pattern. You're basically giving the agent a set of tools it can choose to use. This could be a web search to get today's stock price, or connecting to a company database to pull sales reports. It could even be a tool that lets it run code to do complex math, or, and this is a big one, use an API to finally send that email or book that flight. And the rule of thumb here is really straightforward. Anytime your agent needs to know something that's happening right now, access private data, or actually trigger an action in another system, you're going to need the tool use pattern. It's what turns the brain to jar into a real actor on the world stage. Okay, so now our agent has tools, and it can interact with the world. But what if a task is just too big or too complicated for one agent to handle? Well, that brings us to our next key pattern, multi-agent collaboration. Yeah, if you try to make one single agent do everything for a really complex job, you'll probably get pretty mediocre results. The smarter way to go is to build a team of specialized agents that work together. This is the idea behind the multi-agent collaboration pattern. You take a huge goal, like write a comprehensive market analysis report, and an orchestrator agent acts like the project manager. It breaks the big task down into smaller pieces. It might tell a researcher agent to go out and find all the relevant data. Then it passes that data to a writer agent whose only job is to craft a perfect, well-written report. Each agent is a specialist, and the final result is way better because of it. So, we have agents that can act, and we have agents that can work in teams. But how do we make sure their work is actually good? How do we enforce quality? This is where our third pattern, reflection, comes in. The reflection pattern is essentially an automated quality check. It works like this. First, one agent generates some work, maybe a piece of code or a paragraph for a report. Then, a second agent, a critic agent, looks at that work and critiques it based on a set of rules. It points out flaws or areas for improvement. Finally, that feedback goes back to the original agent, which then refines its work. This loop can repeat until the output is absolutely top-notch. So the takeaway here is pretty clear.
Look, adding this critique step costs more time and more compute power. But if you're in a situation where quality, accuracy, and getting the details right is way more important than speed or cost, think generating code for a production system or a critical financial report, then this trade-off is absolutely worth it. All right, we've gone through the how of agentic AI. Now let's zoom out a bit. Why is this such a big deal? Why does this tech represent such a fundamental change in how we interact with computers? So here's one really interesting idea: the rise of the generalist agent. Imagine you just give it a single command, like plan our annual company retreat in Lisbon, and that's it. For the next few weeks, the agent works autonomously in the background, managing the budget, finding flights, booking hotels, building an itinerary, and just giving you periodic updates. It's not a tool you use, it's a project manager you delegate to. Now let's take that even further. The next hypothesis is the agent-driven economy. An entrepreneur could literally launch an agent to run an entire online store. The agent would identify product trends, manage the supply chain, run marketing campaigns, and even dynamically adjust prices based on demand, all on its own. We're talking about an economy that could operate at a scale and speed that's just completely beyond human capacity. And this all leads us to a really deep final question. As these agents become more and more autonomous, making real decisions that affect real businesses, it forces us to ask some pretty profound things about control and accountability. When an agent is running an entire business, who or what is really the CEO? That's the kind of question we're all going to have to think about as this amazing technology keeps moving forward. Thanks for watching.